Hey everyone, Token Dave over here. Dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by. When Captain America throws his mighty shield. Yes, it's time for another MCU franchise review. And today I am talking about Captain America, the First Avenger. So it is the early 1940s, and Steve Rogers possesses a strong will to fight in World War II. However, the military rejects him for active duty due to various health reasons and his frail stature. Upon hearing a conversation Rogers is having with a childhood friend, a doctor for the armed services recruits Steve to take part in a super soldier experiment program. Despite the experiment being successful, Steve is only seen as a propaganda mascot for the war effort called Captain America, as opposed to a hardened combat soldier. This, however, is changed when Steve displays his combative prowess by rescuing a group of POWs, proving to the Allied forces that he is the best weapon against the Axis powers. This is a very important movie for Marvel in general, and not just the MCU, for two particular reasons. One, Captain America is the flagship of Marvel's history. I'm not just talking about the Silver Age of comics. I am referring to Marvel as a whole, when they were originally known as Timely Comics, when they had only 3 major superheroes, and Captain America was leader of the pack. The other reason is because Captain America has always had the most difficult time of being adapted. In the early 60s, there were a slew of Marvel-related cartoons, and despite it being popular, the Captain America cartoon was viewed as the weakest among the other ones, which included the Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, and Spider-Man. To top it off, Captain America was adapted multiple times. In the 1970s, in a made-for-TV movie, 2 of them actually, which blew, and then there was the 1990s movie. Anywho, so there was a lot riding on this one. And how did it turn out? Well, for starters, they actually had a great cast. People were up in arms about the idea of Chris Evans playing Captain America, and to be honest, I was one of the few people that wasn't, because I actually saw Chris Evans more like Captain America from the comics, and I was like, you know what? Perfect choice. Heck, even Esau and some of my other close friends said the same thing. The only problem is everyone was just looking at him from when he was in the Fantastic Four movie and said, no. But nah, I knew even right from there that he was perfect to be able to portray Steve Rogers as Captain America. And like a lot, and like people later on, they're like, yeah, perfect choice. Great choice for Captain America. But we also have basically, Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull. And it's Hugo Weaving, guys. Come on, Agent Smith from The Matrix, he's amazeballs. So we already had a great actor portraying a villain. And to top it off, we also have, Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. Ooh, hey, I ain't lying. I love me some Haley Atwell. I love her in anything that she does. But going beyond the point, So that's just the immediate cast. We also have Tommy Lee Jones. We also have Ryan McDonough, and we have Derek Lewis, and so we got a great cast, and they all deliver. Every single person delivers, especially Tommy Lee Jones, because not only of how awesome he is, but his one-liners are just astounding. In addition, we also have a great side character in Stanley Tucci as, the doctor that experiments on Steve, plus Sebastian Stan, whom is a regular in the MCU as Bucky Barnes. So the acting and the performances are well and great. Another thing that's also good is actually the CGI. Now, granted, I knew that there was going to be a ton of CGI in this because this is a movie shot in the early 2010s, but it solely takes place in the 1940s, and it's supposed to be a little fantastical, yet still grounded. And we knew that there was going to be a lot of CG and a ton of green screen, but while it's obvious, it is not distracting, which is something that's fairly rare, especially in this day and age, you know. In addition, the score of this movie is outstanding. I have to say that I didn't touch upon this in Thor, but the later scores from Phase 1 have been awe-inspiring, but definitely Captain America First Avenger has the best score, and actually the Star Spangled Man song, I really feel should have at least been nominated for Best Original Song, but it's a superhero movie, so at the time, you know, the Academy didn't take it seriously. But then we had Suicide Squad winning the Academy Award, which is fascinating. Anywho, besides the special effects, you know, this is actually a well-told origin story that actually, like, you know, is fairly on par with the comics, which I will go more into detail with when I do my AA of Captain America, you know, the First Avenger. To top it off, you know, the action sequences are great and amazing, and you could see that basically everyone spent time making sure a lot of the movements, the weapons, and the fighting techniques were that of early 1940s soldiers, you know, nothing overly fantastical or over the top. Are there any issues with this movie? Yes, there are. You know, despite being awesome, you know, the Red Skull does fall into the, you know, two-dimensional villains, you know, of the MCU. And while he is played by one of the best actors out there, you know, there wasn't really that much to work with, and they couldn't really delve into too much of basically the Red Skull's psyche and made him more of a compelling villain. Another issue is that not for me, but for some people, this movie can come off a little too hokey at some instances, but, you know, I have to say, this is a movie that takes place in the 40s, so what passed for, you know, modern and up-to-date and basically socially acceptable then is going to appear outdated nowadays. But besides those complaints, you know, and those issues, we have excellent score, excellent action, great pace, great characters, great performances. I can go on and on about this movie. Oh, and I forgot. There is a complaint about the huge plot hole. I know everyone likes to talk about this, but, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And to top it off, besides that little thing that I had to interject, there's a lot of elements from the comics that are here, and some of the things that they changed from the comics were changed for the better. And to top it off, I have to, you know what? Nah, I'm going to mention that in my AA, you know. But everyone, don't be surprised, but Captain America, the First Avenger, is amazeballs. Agree? Disagree? Please, drop me a comment below, give me a like, follow me on Facebook at Token Dave, or on Twitter at TokenDave80, subscribe, ring that bell so you know when new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by, and I'll catch all of you later.